Hi guys, hi to everyone. And I got Zarena as well on the stage with me.
Good afternoon.
Following the swift introduction, people call me Costa, so for here it's really easy for you guys to
Oh,
just put
yeah.
the S at the end. So Costas.
That's what I like
It's
to
really
know.
easy.
Costa is half Greek already.
Yeah, but I feel like half Greek already.
Okay, thank you for coming to this after lunch session. Very happy to be here and happy to see so many people over the past 2 days. And also I would say that if we compare it with last year and the visits when we started coming to Greece, there is a huge difference, and it's a difference mostly in the vibe, in the ecosystem and in the attitude of the people. So, as Costa said, we represent the region for Central and Eastern Europe for Rakuten Viber. So we're overseeing 15 markets, starting from Czech Republic down to Greece, if you put it like that. And we're very happy to be here, not only because it's Greece and the weather is much warmer than Seoul here, but also because Greece is one of our top markets in the region. It's in number 3, let's say.
I have a question in this direction. How many users do you believe Viber have in Greece? Like, shoot a number. Let's make it more interactive. I mean, Adweb and Mstat are not supposed to answer. These are our official partners for the region, so they know a lot about it. So it's for them, you're not supposed to answer. Just give us a number. Jesus Christ, man, you nailed it. Okay, I'm going to open up the stickers for you for free for globally, so you're going to have the coolest stickers. Huh? You got it.
Cool.
You got it.
How many of you have opened Viber today?
Ah, nice.
Oh, so we have to open stickers for these 3 people in the room who have. Alright, so what happens in Viber every 30 seconds? We have this video for you, which is supposed to be with sound.
Music. So you can play it from the beginning.
Now?
Yeah, I did the music, so I'm very keen to listen to it. I personally did the music on this one. I'm joking, of course.
Hey. Louder. So this video is long, exactly 30 seconds. If you make it double, this is the amount of time needed for all these messages and all these inspirational pictures and gifs and rich media and so on to be shared only in our platform, only like globally. And for the past few years, we've been talking constantly about the obsession with the mobile phones, how users nowadays are so addicted and how hooked up they are. But in fact, the mobile phone serves not only, for entertainment and not only for discussing tons of different topics with your friends and close ones and gossiping, but it actually solves real problems.
Yeah, like yesterday. Let me tell you a story about yesterday. I'm trying to come here, and we're actually staying in Omonia. You know Omonia? Actually, we told really funny stories there about the Saturday tradition with the Molotov cocktail, so it was a good start of our travel here. I was told by the taxi driver it was Saturday, so instead of making a left turn from our hotel going to downtown, I make a right turn. So I think I entered another country, and if I didn't have my phone with me, like literally I wouldn't be here today, I think. I mean, if I couldn't get the address from the people of this place, and if I couldn't order the Uber, which actually in Bulgaria you can do it via Viber, simply because it's not Uber though, it's another partner that we have on the market, integrated a chatbot, so basically I set the location and the taxi is there in 5 minutes. So if I hadn't have my phone with me, probably I wouldn't be here today. So it's really just an example of how useful and how we are connected to our phone and how the phone is helping our everyday life. And Viber is just simply making it possible. I'm going to speak a little bit further in the presentation about it.
That's why we believe that we're really enabling meaningful connections, and this is part of our philosophy. What was the evolution of communication? Briefly, we started as a calling app, and back in the days, calling was the highest, the service with highest usage. So a lot of people like to call to stay connected with friends and family. Now it's not the case. Now the users, they prefer to use messaging app, to chat in a fast, efficient and secure way, which is less intrusive. But also, it's more expressive in a way because of all the different formats. We know, Viber stickers, but also there are different GIFs, there are pictures that you can share, there are voice messages that you can share, there are videos that you can share. So it's not only about exchange of information, it's really looking at the messaging apps as the new expressive channel for even, sharing your identity with the world. A little bit about trends. This is something that is live for more than a year now. But altogether, the big messaging apps, they're bigger than social networks. And this is a trend that's here to stay, that's for sure. It's not a surprise. There are a lot of innovations and developments behind this trend. And we are here to stay and we will further on develop into that. Speaking about Viber, globally, actually, the company is Rakuten Viber. And I don't know, how many of you have heard about Rakuten, first of all?
Nice,
right.
nice. We have quite a lot. So basically, Barcelona fans in here, huh? Nice. Maybe I can get you a jersey than the stickers. I think you're gonna appreciate it more. Nice. So we have a deal here. Oh, okay, bold six. Bad, you're good in negotiation. Okay.
So yeah, speaking about Rakuten, actually Rakuten is the biggest e-commerce player in Japan, and Japan is one of the strongest e-commerce markets globally.
Yeah, you can. It's not a secret. You can Google it. It's like 77 billion annual revenue they did last year. So compared to even Coca-Cola, who did 36 billion in global sales, these guys managed to do twice as much. So this is how big e-commerce is growing, and this is why we're here. This is why, like for Rakuten, globally, Greece is one of the strategic markets as well.
Yeah, so it's very logical, since we are their main B2C business in Europe, to start thinking about e-commerce and Viber and messaging apps, and how we can incorporate these 2 points. Speaking a little bit about our audience, we are mobile first, having around 80% of our audience on mobile. Also, usually people ask me what is the ratio between men and women. It's half-half, while in Greece actually we have slightly wider female audience. I don't know why, maybe because the Greek women like to communicate more, maybe they're more chatty, generally speaking. And some figures about the global audience that we're having. Most of the numbers you already saw in the video, but it's just like millions of messages exchanged every second all around the globe. And we're also #1 app for mobile for travelers on mobile, which is something that we're super happy to share. Another trend, users nowadays, they don't like to download more mobile applications. They think that they have enough mobile applications on their phone. And they prefer to have less apps, but at the same time, the time they spend within these apps is growing steadily over the past 3-4 years. So what the average user, what a normal person wants, is to have less applications, so the battery can stay longer and no need to share your details with numerous apps, but to be able to do more things with these 3-4 apps on average.
So to echo what Zarena just shared, basically the goal of Viber, the direction of where we headed, is to become the one-stop shop. It's maybe a cliche, but actually this is where we're going. Basically, we want our users to not be focused on downloading every type of different application in order to get service done. In order to get, for example, from taxis, ordering, from pizza ordering, for food ordering, for booking tickets, for even sending money. I saw the PayPal presentation, so imagine that in 2 months, a few countries in the region are starting directly peer-to-peer payments in Viber. We already have this as a partner in six markets, but anyway, in their case, you need to be a client of the bank. But imagine that in 2 months, actually by March next year, even in Greece it's coming, you will be able to send money via Viber to another friend, to another colleague, to everybody that you have in your contact list. You know, there's going to be the authentication process. We work with the card providers in this case. So basically, you will be able to choose between money sent from MasterCard or the Visa Direct, or you know, American Express is not something that's popular in the region. So basically, we started with these two partners. So this is something that is coming within the next 2 months. Also, if I share with you that we have a campaign starting, actually a really good thing starting in Hungary, where people will be able to report their meters on water and gas. Instead, I don't know how the tradition is in here, but in Bulgaria the customs is every few months you need to let somebody in your house. You know, it's the same, so pretty much we will avoid this from now on. People will be able to take a picture of the meter, send it to the chatbot. The chatbot will actually, on the minute, convert this number that I literally don't have a clue what the numbers, it's just like numbers and dots and this is it. You send it to the chatbot says, okay, this is like 17 euro for example. And with the peer-to-peer payment, even actually it's going to be peer-to-merchant in this case, you'll be able to pay on the spot. How about that? Does it sound interesting to you? Is it like amazing, making your life easy, and you're doing it at the same place that you're chatting with your friends and family? I have to tell you that we've passed all of those IT audits this company have. And the bank, see, the bank wants to integrate with a payment service. I imagine that this is hell for our tech teams, but for me it's good. We passed it, so we're moving forward.
And speaking about checkups, maybe a few words about security.
Yeah, this is the continuation of this topic. Basically, we are really end-to-end encrypted. And that's, I'm saying really, because it's just not the text saying that you are really end-to-end encrypted, but we are able to listen to whatever you say, or when you sneeze, we say, bless you on the other end. No, we don't do that. And honestly, I'm the sales guy. Trust me, I'm not an engineer, but I'm the sales guy here. If I knew what your interests were, I will be able to provide this to those guys over there as a targeting. Am I right, Fredriscus? So we honestly don't know what the people is talking. What we know is who device is connecting to which device at one time. We don't even know the location if you haven't enabled the location of your phone.
But today we're here in order to speak about e-commerce. And again, some numbers that I've put together for you. But like for this year, more than 50% of the connected world is supposed to shop online. For 2020, in 2 years, is supposed to shop online. So it's a very, very, you know, self-explanatory number there. And you know what, these people, the majority of them, as we already touched base a couple of times in these 2 days, they're going to be the millennials, they're going to be the mobile users, they're going to be the young generation with the rising purchasing power that are mobile native and that use 1 or 2 messaging apps constantly. So it's not FOMO if you're ahead of the curve. And this is the solution that we actually launched in the States last year, and we are about to launch it in Russia in 2 weeks. Let me briefly present it to you. It's like a mobile catalog integrated within the messaging chat window with different verticals, with different brands and different products behind that. So you have the chat, you can super easily share with a friend because you know what, people, they discuss purchases online all the time. So it's not only clicking buy, it's also clicking share to get reference, to ask your friends if the new shoes that you want to buy from ASOS are the right color, if this thing will fit you well or not. So it's not only buying, it's also very, very trendy and used conversational topic. Then you can like it, you can buy it, or not.
I hope you understand Russian.
Yeah. So this is how it looks. This is the demo of the product that we already have. So basically you browse through the catalog while chatting, then you can go, you can click share or buy without exiting the chat window. And this is very important, that just while we're discussing what we're going to bring for one of our friends for Christmas, we can automatically go there, search for it, discuss it, get, you know, share opinions about it, whether it's a good idea or not, and automatically finish the purchase without exiting the application.
Usually, I don't know how's the case in here, but usually in my family and with my, closest relationship, I'm not the one taking the decisions. But this way I'll be able to share, hey, this is what I got my eyes on, would you approve this? this. So she clicks, she says, okay, looks good, you pay for it. You know, it's pretty easy.
And here are the numbers for the first 3 months in the States. We have 6.3 average daily openings, 32 people shared the item. 32% of the users shared the item, which is like very, again, self-explanatory, it speaks by itself.
And 16% conversion rate, sorry for interrupting you again. I mean, 16% conversion rate on a mobile, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
And of course, we're testing this product now. As I said, we are very happy to, we are one of the very few companies testing its products in the state and Russia. It's a good testing market. But we believe that it perfectly makes sense to introduce this solution in Europe, in Central and Eastern Europe, coming in Greece most probably in Q1 next year. So stay tuned.
And I will go forward a little bit about our latest product, which is the communities that we just launched in Viber. So basically imagine that we can have a place where we actually can gather over 1 billion people in one place, in one super group, where the functionalities are quite higher than anything else that you have seen so far on any other applications, with the super admins, administrators and stuff. However, since I'm talking to more than 800 accounts in our region, what I recommend to our partners is to have this as an addition to their chatbots, and I'm going to speak a little bit further about the chatbots, but the community itself is a place where all those people can be talking about one specific topic. Can be sharing opinion, you can mute, unmute specific people, you can have everybody speaking, but imagine if you have usually our campaigns gather hundreds of thousands of people in one place. Like we had Nova back in the day, we had more than 360,000 people in their public account. We had Akizu, and I'm going to share the number there because it's quite impressive. Imagine if you have 100,000 people speaking, you need to spend a lot of time on content management. So those guys who are dealing with this stuff, it's really important to be really careful who is allowed to speak and who is not allowed to speak. So basically the best performing brands globally, they're having their influencers there. Like in a few months we're going to be seeing Bruce Willis in a community in Hungary himself. He's going to be speaking with other people, and those that perform something that the chatbot wants from the users, we'll be able to have a personal communication with him. So it's a value prop for the users, especially for those that are really keen on the brand. Actually
today, since it's Davis Cup and the finals, and we have a community, just as an example, we have a community with Ivan Lulubicevic, as far as I can pronounce it, who is Roger Federer's trainer and coach, personal coach. So he's moderating the Croatian national community for tennis right now, as we speak. And there is a huge interest, and we open it from time to time, let's say every 4 hours for 15 minutes, for all the fans to ask questions, to discuss how the game is going, to support their national team, and just express their vibes.
We actually did for Barcelona. They have a really nice community. Olympique de Marseille, the sports team. So basically the president was supposed to answer 100 people's questions. He stayed for 4 hours. So the president of Olympique de Marseille, pardon, but my French is not the best one that I've ever heard. Marseille, okay? So basically, those guys spent 4 hours answering questions to the users. So it's a really good place for users to be converted into clients, if this is your goal, or to share the news. So I'm going to move forward, but because I see him standing up, and I think that he's going to say something to me. So I'm going to speed things up. I'm going to share a little bit more about our chatbots. As you can see, the trends is that more than 2/3 of all the users have already interacted with a chatbot, and 80% of those people are seeing this as a value-added services when we're talking about customer care and customer support. And actually, I'm going to give you several examples really quickly, promise. Basically, we have here what MTEL did back in the day in Bulgaria, where they actually transferred the entire functionality of their application into Viber. So basically, even my sister had a very good case, but I don't have time to share it. However, imagine that you can go to the Viber account, the Viber chatbot account of A1. It's called A1 now, the Austrian Telecom. Basically, it used to be MTEL. So you go there, and with a few clicks, you can recharge your prepaid phone, you can change your mobile data plan, you can add data to anywhere you are in the world, you can change to roaming with switching a few times. It's a CRM integrated chatbot, so it recognizes if you're a client or not. If you're not, you're getting content, to convert you to a client. If you're a client, you just use their services. We had Raiffeisen Bank that actually has more than 3,000 chats per day with the chatbot. We also have...
and we have Speedy, which is actually DPD. This is a courier company, and I receive daily messages from their chatbot because I'm a heavy online shopper.
Yeah.
So this is my courier company informing you about my deliveries through the chatbot whenever I have it. It's super easy to track it. It can be on demand, it can be automated, but again, it makes my life easier.
And also you can see the case of Avon in Russia, who actually went one step ahead before we integrated the shopping keyboard, so they started themselves with a chatbot. And as you can see, they have, actually you cannot see, but they have more than 400,000 subscribers to this place. So imagine 400,000 people in one place being able to shop directly in Viber without leaving the same place that they're chatting with their friends. So, here I need to say that we have MStat, which is our official partner in terms of business messages. They know very well what I'm going to talk about. Business messages is the substitution of SMS. So basically people are receiving directly a message from the brand that they are in a relationship with, or their customers. And those messages have way more text in terms of symbols. The open rate goes, if I'm not wrong, above 70% of those messages. So compared to the SMS or the newsletters that you have in an email, it's times higher. And this is why we're having a huge peak in this service globally. Since we're pressed with time, I want to show you something more, how should I say, sexy, if I'm allowed to use this word. This is Akazoo. It's actually one of our...
Greek.
It's a Greek company. It's the music streaming application, like Spotify. If you haven't heard about it, go check it out because it's amazing. What they did, actually, they released 2 sticker campaigns in Russia and in Greece, and managed to get. Do I have this thing? No, I don't have the laser. But they managed to get 3.5 million subscribers over 2 months. And you know what the conversion rate was there? 38%. So this is why actually they're going global in December, and they're actually going to penetrate all the markets and Viber is strong. So with the sticker campaign, everybody download the stickers, subscribe to the chatbot. The chatbot starts first the conversation and say, hey, I'm here to support you with this, this, and this. Are you interested? You click yes, and you're subscribed to newsletters from their side. And as I'd like to share with you, and this is something that's very important, those messages become totally for free. So imagine you have 4 million subscribers in 2 markets with free messages that is directly one-to-one, personalized. If the chatbot asks you for a few things, give me your gender and your age group. Boom, you know who is who there. So I know based on every single activation that I have as a brand, that I want to reach out to this specific target group and target them with a specific message that is way more easier for me to convert them as clients. Sounds good, huh? Yeah. Alrighty. And this is Coca-Cola, which I have to be very proud right now of myself. 2 weeks ago, we won DigiDay Best Use of Mobile for Europe with the campaign that Coca-Cola had in Bulgaria last year. So you see the conversion rate? How many of you have seen 30% conversion rate on a digital campaign? Yeah? See, this is the answer that I'm having everywhere. This is why we get this award. This is a very prestigious award. We get this because of this 30% conversion rate. So basically for Coke, the biggest challenge was to ask them from a digital environment to go offline and buy their product and return to the digital environment and prove the transaction. They did it. So basically they managed to get, in a few weeks, they managed to get 100,000 subscribers and 30,000 codes under the cap. You know, they always play with the codes under the cap. It's crazy, crazy result. We're actually working now together on a very global level. So HQ of Rakuten is in connection with HQ of Atlanta, you know, of Coca-Cola, where they're actually going to meet in Sofia in a few weeks. How about that? I'm very proud of it. Very, very proud. Okay. Yeah, sorry, just one more second. This is just an example of what exactly they're doing. So imagine they started last year, they moved with a Christmas campaign, they did an Easter campaign, so all of those campaigns has more than 10% conversion rate. And actually this is what they just released in Bulgaria this week. It's this Santa, where for the first time ever globally we're doing the UGC, or the user-generated content. We're working with an American partner called Vivon, where people will be able to take selfies and videos of themselves doing good deeds. So they're not related these type of transactions. They don't want the people to be spending money on Coke products, but to do good things. You know, they invented Santa Claus. So basically they want people to be doing good deeds and to take pictures as a proof of their doing that, to share it with the chatbot, and they will be winning prizes in return.
So, do good deeds, enjoy holidays, and the future is now.
Stay cool.